Coming to the second stage of the biosynthetic phase, that is Calvin cycle we are studying, we have glycolytic reversal. Now, this stage, as you can see in the name itself, you try to recall what you had studied in glycolysis when you did respiration in class 11. Reversal of that would be there. Now, what you see over here, instead of starting from the beginning points, let's start from the end where we have glucose being formed. Now, if you can recall what was there in glycolysis, glucose breaks down into, it gets converted to glucose 6-phosphate. There is addition of phosphate in the presence of enzyme phosphatase. Then this glucose 6-phosphate, it converts into its isomer of fructose 6-phosphate. This fructose 6-phosphate takes up an ATP, phosphate from an ATP, and becomes fructose 1,6-diphosphate. This fructose 1,6-diphosphate, it breaks down into two isomers, that is 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Now, this is what you see in glycolysis. Then individually it breaks down to some other compound. What we have over here in glycolytic reversal is whatever is happening in the glycolysis, opposite to that would happen. Let us see step by step what happens is, we had 3-phosphoglyceric acid in the beginning when the carboxylation of RUBP had taken place. Two compounds were there. Let's take one molecule and we are going to see what happens to this. This 3-carbon compound known as 3-PGA takes up one of the phosphate from ATP. ATP comes and gives one of the phosphate to a 3-carbon compound and it becomes 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid. Alright, 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid, this is phosphoglyceric acid where it has phosphate at third position. There is addition of one more phosphate and it becomes 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid. That means glyceric acid which is having two phosphates in it. And this takes place in the presence of triose phosphate kinase. Now, this particular compound is a triose. Okay, it is a triose because it is having 3 carbons. It is a triose phosphate because it is having a phosphate, and the enzyme's name is kinase because it comes and makes the addition of phosphorus possible to this 3-PGA. Okay, moving further, what is formed? 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid. Now, what will happen? This 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid will undergo dehydrogenation. When I say dehydrogenation, it means it undergoes reduction. When I say it undergoes reduction, that means it is going to need the reducing power, and reducing power was NADPH. So, we have in the next step that this outcome on addition of NADPH, because it gets dehydrogenated, we have the compound, we have the enzyme, that is triose phosphate dehydrogenase. It gets reduced to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is otherwise known as 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, and there is a phosphoric acid formation. Keep that aside, you need not to remember it. What you have to remember is that 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid, it gets reduced in the presence of NADPH because this reduction process is almost, is otherwise dehydrogenation that we see. We have glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, otherwise known as 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, 3-PGAL, we write it this way. This 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde would isomerize to form dihydroxyacetone 3-phosphate, that is otherwise known as 3-DHAP, dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Both of these are 3-carbon compounds. Please pay attention what has happened till now. The PGA, the phosphoglyceric acid that was formed as a result of carboxylation, it takes up one more phosphate from ATP in the presence of given enzyme. The names of enzymes you have to remember once you understand what the reaction. It is a triose phosphate which is taking up another phosphate. So, we have triose phosphate kinase which is catalyzing the reaction. What do we have? We have a triose phosphate which has 2 phosphates now, okay, because the ATP has been utilized. This 2 phosphate triose is now getting dehydrogenase. That means the enzyme would be dehydrogenase, or in other sense we can say it would get reduced. It gets reduced to a glyceraldehyde, glyceric acid reduced to glyceraldehyde, which is otherwise known as 3-PGL. This 3-PGL can get isomerized into another compound, that is an acetone, dihydroxyacetone 3-phosphate, and the enzyme's name is isomerase. That you have to keep in mind, because this is an isomeric reaction. It is isomerase, and whom does it isomerize? It isomerizes a phosphate triose. Okay, so we have phosphotriose isomerase. Now this DHAP, they get interconverted, and now what will happen is that they would both come together and form fructose. Both of these, 3-PGAL and DHAP, in the presence of aldolase, 3-DHAP. These two are isomeric forms that are being formed. Both of them would combine to form fructose 1,6-diphosphate. Okay, 2 of them would come. Now you might ask that where does this 2 of them come? When we do it cyclic representation, then you would understand, because we started with a single molecule. It has isomerized to this form. Consider it that one of the PGAL was in its original stage, it did not get isomerized, and the other one got isomerized, and this is what we have. We have aldolase that converts these 2 isomers into fructose 1,6-diphosphate. Now this fructose 1,6-diphosphate has to form its isomer glucose and get rid of its 2 phosphates. That would happen in the reversal process that we have over here. This fructose 1,6-diphosphate would take up 1 water molecule. In the presence of phosphatase, it would become fructose 6-phosphate and get rid of 1 of the phosphates in the form of phosphoric acid, as you can see over here. Then this fructose 6-phosphate that is being formed, it would get isomerized to glucose 6-phosphate. This glucose 6-phosphate, in the same manner as fructose got rid of its phosphate, would get rid of its phosphate, that is glucose 6-phosphate. In the presence of water, in the presence of same enzyme, it would form glucose. So this is what is glycolytic reversal, and this is what takes place inside the Calvin cycle that is taking place, where we had seen that initially the carbon dioxide comes and combines with RUBP, forms 2 molecules of 3-PGA. How this 3-PGA single molecule undergoes changes and forms a glucose molecule. Do keep in mind, because 3-PGA is a 3-carbon compound, we are going to need another one for the formation of glucose, because glucose itself is a 6-carbon compound. Now in pretext, we have to keep one thing in mind, that when we are talking about this outcome, this particular outcome, there would be 6 molecules of carbon dioxide that would be in the scenario. Please keep in mind that 6 molecules of carbon dioxide would be required for ultimate formation of glucose. That means this 3-PGA would be the ultimate carbon dioxide that would be fixed out of the 6. Initially, there would be 6 carbons which would be fixed, and 3 PGAs would be formed, and later on we are going to have glucose. I know this is a bit confusing. At this stage, what you have to do is you have to remember these steps, that what happens actually. When we do it cyclic representation, then I'm going to make sure that you understand what I'm trying to say, what is all about 6 molecules and rest things. Just keep in mind this 3-PGA undergoes following steps. This is the point of doubt that comes into the mind, that because there was one point, this step, this is an isomeric step. There is formation of dihydroxyacetone from 3-PGAL. So it is bound to come in your mind that where does the other one come from, because in the beginning we had this one. This is a reversible reaction that would be represented like this. This can form DHAP, DHAP can form 3-PGAL. So what happens, that would be part of another aspect that we study cyclically. Once in your mind, it should be clear that what are the steps that are taking place and which enzyme is playing what role. It would be easier for you to understand once we do it in graphical representation.